conduct, quote, intimidating and threatening to our client in violation of the NFL personal conduct policy. We welcome in Fox Sports contributor Rob Parker. Good morning.
What's happening? Good morning. Good morning.
All right, lots of accusations, no convictions, though, yet. How do you think this new information is going to impact the NFL's decision?
That's a good question on how they play this. Obviously, it's not smart for AB. I mean, just let your lawyers handle this stuff. Stay away from it, because you can't win. There's no win, even if you're getting back. The only thing I thought was strange was that it was a group text with other people. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Usually, if you're trying to threaten somebody, you don't want other people to be a part of the text. So I thought that was strange, that there was 3 or 4 people on the text, including his lawyer, right?
Yeah, but you noticed other people responded, but his lawyer didn't.
Right, no, because his lawyer's smart.
Yeah, exactly.
So, by the way, is it possible her number was included by accident? Is it possible? It is certainly possible.
Yeah. It just seemed weird, that there would be that. And I guess my only tale here is, yes, there's so much stuff out here. Every day there's a new story and something else. And I know people are like, okay, enough already, and they use one thing to pile on another thing and another thing and another thing. I just say, be careful. That's my thing. Be careful, because somebody did something a year ago or whatever doesn't mean he did this.
Right.
Just be careful. And Skip, you covered the Cowboys and Michael Irvin, and you know what he went through. And the one example that taught me as a young reporter when I was starting out was the Michael Irvin case back in 1997. And I don't know if you remember this.
I do.
But there was a woman who said that Michael Irvin held a gun to her head and all kinds of stuff. Just a bad situation. But the bottom line is, Dave Anderson, the late, great Dave Anderson, was a columnist for the New York Times. He was a great one. Wrote a column saying Jerry Jones should get rid of Michael Irvin. He bought into the woman because of what Michael had done previously and other stuff. And then the short story is, she admitted that she made up the entire story. It was not true, and she wound up doing 3 months in jail. So my only tale is, be careful to rush to judgment. The NFL needs to investigate, look into all of this, and then act accordingly. But I think people need to be careful not to just, every time something comes up, automatically assume that it's true.
Well, for me, what I did with this situation is that I said Brittany Taylor, I said this is separate. And I dealt with the issue with the lady, the painter that was in the SI article. I dealt with this on its face by itself. I don't care what he did in Pittsburgh. And I was first, and Skip and we were very first to say, his act in Pittsburgh, the way he behaved in Pittsburgh, the way he behaved in Oakland, doesn't necessarily mean that what she's alleging that he did is true.
In the civil suit.
In the civil suit. I'm good. Look, I'm going to judge each act on its own merits.
Good point.
In this situation here, for me, if she's making this up, if someone says, well, you did this to me, I don't want to talk to you, Rob. I got nothing else to say to you, and I'm not going to threaten you, because there's a reason why you're not supposed to have contact with a witness or a potential witness, because it can be conceived if you're trying to influence, you're trying to intimidate them, and you go to jail for that. That's another thing you can go to jail for. So why? I said earlier, 1 or 2 things are at play. Either he did this on mistake and he had this group chat and didn't know he had included her number, or he's like, yeah, I know, hey, here's the kids. I want you to know that I'm coming for you, because what you do, I think what you're saying is a lie. I agree, Rob. And I said to Skip, and I was talking about this earlier. That's what you got a lawyer for.
Right.
I ain't got nothing to say to you. If you want to file a suit, file a suit. I'll talk to you in court. But until then, miss me with everything you're saying. I'll have my day in court.
100%.
I'll get my opportunity. But I am not going to put myself in jeopardy. I'm not going to put myself in harm's way, Skip, by sending these threatening messages. Because it's hard to get away from that, Rob. It's hard to well, I just wanted to show a picture of her kids because I thought her kids were not. Really?
No.
No, bruh. This is, Brittany Taylor aside, this is where he has the most legal jeopardy right now with the NFL, because this is something they can prove. You did this, even after you knew.
Now, my only question would be, with the NFL and the slippery slope, okay, he sent those texts out. What happens if they find out that it's not credible?
Okay.
But the Sports Illustrated...
No, I'm asking you. I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Robert Klemko went to lengths to validate and authenticate.
We had him on the radio show. I got it.
He's done an outstanding job on this story, and I think he pretty much nailed it down last night in his second story.
And he would be putting himself in huge jeopardy. Now, anything that he writes, you get called into question. If he were to do this, and her, well, you know what, Skip? Rob, I hope it's not right. I hope she made it up for AB's sake.
For AB's sake, right?
Man, this is just me. But the NFL is now on an even hotter seat than AB is on, because I just keep waiting for them to take some kind of action, and we still have not heard they have even scheduled an interview session with Antonio Brown. And just as a football fan, I need that. I need to know that next Tuesday he's going to be in New York City and he's going to be interviewed. Not interrogated, just interviewed, so that they get his side of that story, starting with the civil suit side. And then to peel back into all the other incidents he's been involved in, including the latest one with the artist in question in the SI article. But what really impacted me and should impact the National Football League, the Shield, is that Nike dropped Antonio Brown yesterday. Nike hung in with Tiger Woods. I know all these situations are a little different than this one, but they hung in with Tiger Woods and Kobe Bryant, Ben Roethlisberger, and Neymar and Ronaldo now. They hung in.
The only one that
Nike, go ahead.
The only one that I'm surprised that they hung up with of all those guys you mentioned is Big Ben, because soccer is such a global brand. And Ronaldo and Neymar, they sell, and Kobe. People wear basketball shoes all the time. You can wear basketball shoes with a suit and tie. You can wear basketball shoes.
Not wearing football cleats.
Well, you're wearing cleats too.
Exactly. It's easier for them to do that.
And then Neymar,
Kobe was charged.
That's what I'm saying. Kobe, I'm surprised, Kobe, but Kobe.
But you got to remember, it was a different time. Remember, they used to fly the Laker plane, fly Kobe there. He played throughout the entire case.
Yeah,
he did.
But things have changed, Skip. Since that Me Too movement has come about, there's a different playing field now. It's not the same.
He wouldn't have played today.
No way.
But again, Nike has always valued superstars with some edge, some street cred. This is going over the edge. And just think about what just happened. Antonio's on the thinnest of ice when it just comes to personal conduct. Not the civil suit, not that rape accusation. We're just talking about the thinnest of ice over the last year. One incident, one controversy after another, after another, after another, leading up to this. This was so brazen, so I am above your rules and your law. So not smart to apparently, I'll have to use apparently, threaten, intimidate a woman who told SI that he made unwanted sexual advances toward her back in 2017. But the woman has made it clear to the Sports Illustrated reporter, he's actually Monday morning quarterback, and to the league, she's seeking no remuneration here. So now he's trying to badger, threaten, whatever, intimidate a woman who's already on the record. I'm not trying to take you to the bank financially. I'm good. I just told my story, and I'll tell it to the league, but I don't need anything for it. Okay.
And then he tries to make her look bad. Talking about, you know, she's a star. You know, look at her kids. So she must be want money. It's almost like, you know, like because she's not financially well off. She's making this up the game.
In the text, the quote is super broke girl, awfully broke, clearly. To what end? What's your goal here? What's your motivation? What are you trying to do? I don't know, because you're only looking worse and worse in the league's eye when it just comes to the image of the National Football League. Is this not a bad look?
It's a terrible look. And the NFL has a problem because of all of the different circumstances and situations that they deal with, because they took it on as to be, they're going to be judge, jury, and executioner on these things. And they're tough. They're not as easy, and that's why they've had egg on their face a number of times in these situations.
And another thing, Skip, is that the thing that I think a lot of the players have is the inconsistency in their policy. Now, we saw a very similar situation with Tyreek Hill and the threatening text messages that he sent.
We heard it. We heard the call. We heard the phone call.
And nothing happened. So AB is probably going to go in there and says, well, okay, yeah, even if I did, Well, you had threatening from Tyreek.
You heard a voice. It wasn't even a text.
And he played, and not only did he play, Skip, he got a contract extension. We got 3 years, $54 million. So
well, and I must say, given my Dallas Cowboys, I thought it was very unfair that Zeke got 6 games.
Right.
Yet this last summer in Las Vegas, that incident, which was captured on video,
right.
that deserves something.
Right.
See, this is what my point was the inconsistency.
Right, and that's what the player hates.
This is where, oh, you're going to come down on AB for this, but like you said, Tyreek Hill, where we heard actual video.
So let's just talk about conduct violations, not the civil suit.
Right.
Robert Klimko's sub-headline on the first article that he posted was accusations, obviously, against AB range from a previously untold account of sexual misconduct, a charity auction theft, multiple domestic incidents, and a long list of unpaid debts. And I've gone over the whole past year, and it's one incident after another, starting with he threw furniture in a fit of anger off his 14th floor balcony that endangered a 22-month-old boy sitting at the pool because the ottoman fell within 2 feet of him. That could be a lethal act.
Yeah.
And then it was one thing, he had a 100-mile-an-hour speeding ticket that he didn't even go to court for, and he was docked for in Pittsburgh. Yeah. And then it led all the way up to the Oakland incident on the practice field in which he called the GM, reportedly, Mike Mayock, a cracker and wanted to fight him, threatened to punch him out. Well, this is all, it's just conduct.
Right.
Well, does it add up to, gee, we have to suspend you just for conduct violations, not the civil suit, but just this? Does it add up to something where the NFL has to take some action? I don't know if you put him on the exempt list where you get a paid leave of absence.
Well, they should, you know what, Skip? If you think about it, look how baseball does it. When they hear this thing, you go on administrative leave. Yeah. And if we do our investigation, you're going to still get your check. But you're not going to be out here playing around and we have this going on. Commissioner could have...
And in those cases, though, that's a criminal case. And I think that's the gray area here. Are you criminal or, like, you could talk about the behavior, people not paying their bills.
Yeah, the NFL is not a debt collector.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right. That can't be the reason why you don't play.
Right.
Because you haven't paid some bills.
No.
I mean, we can't get into every little thing that you do.
It's added up. It's a mountain of incidents.
I think, but for me, Skip, it's just that and I keep saying this, Brittany Taylor aside, there's a pattern of behavior that Antonio Brown does not feel rules are applicable to him.
Okay, so Shannon, you're the commissioner.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm calling him in. I'm gonna sit down and talk.
Okay, and then if you're not happy with what he says, what would you?
Well, you already know what I'm doing.
What?
I'm gonna suspend him.
For how long? I mean, when you look at this pile of stuff, what would you say would be your?
Whatever I don't know what. I mean, I guess the minimum was what, 4 games. Mm-hmm. But see, and this is the dilemma that the commissioner's in, because he suspends him. Guess where you got to come back to have your appeal heard? To me.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine. Okay. I get a speeding ticket, and I got to go to the chief of police.
But see, my inconsistency here, if you say you're going to give him 4 games for this...
But I'd have suspended Tyreek Hill also.
Okay, but Ray Rice got 2 games. Yeah, that was the original suspension.
That was before the rules. Yeah. Because commissioner, when he gave Ray 2 games, that was general. That's what they got. Domestic, but you normally got 2 games.
But if you suspend him, yes, sir, right now, at least 4 games, maybe 6 games for just conduct unbecoming, because at least that way the NFL would get ahead of this, because its worst nightmare would be if this goes to a jury trial in the civil suit. Mm-hmm. And
he loses.
The jury finds in her favor, the NFL would look all-time awful, like Ray Rice bad.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Definitely a complicated issue and an important one when you look at what precedent it sets and what message it sends in today's world.
Not easy.
Rob Parker, thanks so much for being here.
Always.
We appreciate it. All right, has Dak's biggest weakness now been revealed?
Not again.
Yeah, again.
Here we go again.
Again.
Every time he steps on the field.